Hey, what's up, sports bettors? Matt here with OddsJam. And what I'm going to be doing in this video is giving you my top 3 favorite upset picks for NFL Week 3. I've been tracking this through the first 2 weeks. Admittedly, hasn't gone great. I am 1-4 with my upset picks. We will see how the Vikings do tonight as my last upset pick. What I will say is that I love this slate of underdogs. So what I have up here on the screen is the OddsJam NFL odds page. Free line shopping offered at OddsJam. Just go to oddsjam.com NFL and it pulls up all the different odds for every game. And the cool thing about this is you can tell which games inherently have value right off the bat. The way you can tell, just look at what the best moneyline odds offered are, and you can tell there's going to be value. Basically, if the best odds are like this on the OddsJam line or on BetOnline, 2 sharp books that we use to kind of set the market, you know there is no moneyline play on those teams. If you see moneyline odds on any other sports book, ones that we can place a bet on, any of the onshore books, FanDuel, PointsBet, BetMGM, DraftKings, all of these are bets that we don't use as sharp books to set the lines at. When that happens, that means that those are betting opportunities that could have some value. So right off the bat, I will admit I like the Texans in this game to win straight up, but no good value on their money line odds. The Colts, absolutely not. How bad they look, no way. I'm not ready to bet against the Bills yet. We'll have to see how they look tonight. So far, so good for the Bills. The Lions, ding, ding, ding. One team that I really, really like their underdog odds. Now, I will say, this bet beating the closing line or not is fully dependent, not fully, is somewhat dependent on how the Vikings look tonight. So I'm recording this on Monday before the Vikings Monday Night Football game against the Eagles. If the Vikings win and look incredible, just smash the Eagles, plus 260, this number is going to go up. If the Vikings lose, or even if they play a closer game but don't look that good, something like that, this number will go down. My guess is that even if the Vikings do crush the Eagles, my guess is that the number won't go much higher than it is right now at plus 260. It still will probably go up 265, 270, something like that in terms of the best odds. But my guess is that there's a wider range of how low it can go if the Vikings look mediocre or if they lose or something like that. And I think people are high on the Lions. Obviously, week 1, they almost came back from a 17-point deficit. They scored 35 points on the Eagles. Week 2, just absolutely smashed Carson Wentz and the Commanders. I actually kind of like this Lions team. Now, the plus 260 odds, if you want to click into a game, it pulls up what every sportsbook is pricing it, is also a pretty decent value. Plus 260 is best offered on FanDuel. No other book is offering you above plus 250. Some books have it even like plus 225, plus 240, plus 245. So, excuse me. So this isn't necessarily a McSlam, load your bankroll type play on the Lions money line, but getting it at plus 260, I do think is valuable. So I'm not going to put a ton on it. I'm going to put just less than half a unit on the Lions money line, but I think getting it at plus 260 does have some value. So I'm going to put 25 bucks on this one. Again, not a huge value to profit 65. So they are my first underdog pick, the Lions at plus 260. Again, I only put half a unit on or less than half a unit on this one. Quarter unit. I'm just going to make a note because normally I do half a unit. This one I did a quarter. So that is one of them. The next one, so going through the list, right? Patriots, no, I actually really like the Ravens. The Ravens are one of my locks on this one. The Jets, I mean, with how bad the Bengals look, who knows, but there's no value there. The Titans at plus 100. I'm sitting that one out. The odds could change. They could no longer be underdogs depending on how they play tonight. And the Raiders just blew that lead. They're 0-2. The next one that I wanted to comment on, the Commanders against the Eagles at plus 168 again on FanDuel. So here's another one. I guess you can actually get them at plus 170 on WynnBET, so the odds changed a little bit. Now, the value isn't as good. Best offered at plus 170, the average odds plus 163. So we can get them at plus 170. The other books have them pretty close. FanDuel plus 168, BetMGM plus 165. But then there's DraftKings at plus 155. But if you just compare the gap between these books, granted the numbers are higher, so the swings are going to be higher as well. but this FanDuel line at plus 260 is a greater outlier than the WynnBET line at plus 170. So I'm not going to officially add the Commanders as one of my underdog picks, but I did want to highlight them. As an Eagles sports fan, I am intimately knowledgeable of how Philly sports works. I can assure you it is not out of the realm of possibility that Carson Wentz comes back, plays against the Eagles, and has an incredible game. It is not out of the realm possibilities at all. I'm not betting on it because Carson Wentz isn't necessarily the type of quarterback that seems to show up in these big moments. I think his biggest issue as a quarterback is he tries to do too much. So he tries to make a play when it's not there. He tries to fit a ball into a receiver that's triple covered because he thinks he has the strong enough arm. He can't kill a play. He has bad pocket awareness, but he also has his high highs. I mean, there's a reason why Carson Wentz leads the league in touchdown passes. Number one, because they're down, because of the mistakes he makes. Number two, he still does have elite arm talent at times. He can hit a deep bomb for 60 yards, perfectly placed. Then he'll sail a slant route by 10 yards above the receiver. So he's got a wide range of outcomes as a quarterback. One of those ranges is that he plays incredible. I'm not going to officially add it to my list of the Eagles on a team that's on upset alert, but my antennas are up. I'll just say that. I could change my mind as the week goes along. This is probably my favorite one that I wanted to talk about, the Packers against the Buccaneers. The Packers are at plus 118, best offered on FanDuel. Since these numbers are so close together, that the average odds is not a huge discrepancy, but BetOnline offers them at plus 113, better odds than that. And the Bucs team looked terrible offensively, pretty much in both games. Really hasn't looked good offensively. Now, Mike Evans is out. Julio Jones missed last week. Chris Godwin missed last week. So we'll have to see who ends up playing for the Bucs. But I don't have high hopes on them. And the Packers did. Classic Packers looked horrible week 1, looked significantly better week 2. Now they're probably not going to be able to run the ball against the stout Bucs defense, but I do like the Packers in this one at plus 120. So this one I actually am going to put the full half unit on for these underdog picks. I'm going to add it to my spreadsheet. Packers plus 120, and actually it was better odds. So the odds changed when I last looked, more favorable at plus 120 than what FanDuel had it at plus 118. As my second one, and my third one, I really like the Falcons against the Seahawks. Now I know the Falcons, Arthur Smith, his head coach, is just somewhat of an idiot. He's saying like, we're not in the business of fantasy football. We're in the business of winning games. Rich, this is in comment of usage of Kyle Pitts. That's Rich coming from a team that's 0-2. They blew their week 1 game against the Saints. They did kind of come back against the Rams, so the final score was actually a pretty respectable final score. And this Seahawks team is just dreadful. Against the 49ers last week, they didn't have a single offensive touchdown, single offensive point. The only points that were scored by Seattle in that game was on a kick return for a touchdown. I think that they got all their energy out, their big game out in week 1, beating Russell Wilson, which actually looks less impressive when you see how bad and disorganized the Broncos look on Sunday. So I really like the Falcons to get their first win. Pretty good value here at plus 115. Average odds plus 107. OddsJam offering best odds at plus 107. It's also positive expected value. So if you remove the VIG from the OddsJam line, so all you need to do is just enter both sides of what they price it at. So they priced Seahawks at minus 120, Falcons at plus 107. If you put those into a no VIG fair odds calculator, which I did here, we see that the VIG with the VIG removed, prices this at about plus 113 if you want to round up. We can get them at plus 115 on WynnBET, showing that this is a positive expected value underdog. So I'm going to go ahead and lock this one in on WynnBET. We are looking at the Falcons money line against the Seahawks. Going to put a half unit on this one. Make sure that the bet has been placed. It has. We are good. So last one, Falcons at plus 115. Hoping to do better. I'm an Eagles fan, so I'm not hoping the Vikings win, but if they do, at least I will have salvaged a little bit of these underdog picks going 2-4 as opposed to 1-5. And for next week, week 3, I really like all 3 of these picks, so we will see. Let me know what you think. Comment on the video with your thoughts, what underdogs you like, which one of my 3/3.5, including the Commanders, you don't like, and that's it. So thanks for watching, and have a good one.